Hello, everyone. My name is Nadal, and welcome back to LASO Solo. On this episode, I take on Assault on the Control Room, which is a really long mission, but you get a pretty good introduction to vehicle combat. Now, going into this mission, I remember quite a bit of it. I don't remember everything, and that's pretty evident when I get to the later stages of this mission. But overall, this wasn't as difficult as Truth and Reconciliation, but it was a little bit more difficult than the Silent Cartographer. Maybe after I'm done with the Lasso solo series, I'll do an official tier list ranking of how I felt about each mission. But for now, we're just going to take on Assault on the Control Room. My strategy is pretty much try to skip as many enemies as I can because I don't really have the ammo or the means to fight every single enemy. And you'll see what I'm talking about as the mission progresses. Hopefully, I can continue to do this and get away with it, but I guess time will tell. So I hope you enjoy this. And yeah.
This is as far as I can go. Roger that. We'll be able to find our way to the control center from here. Good luck. Full hammer out.
Interesting. The weather patterns here seem natural, not artificial. I wonder if the ring's environment systems are malfunctioning, or if the designers wanted the installation to have inclement weather.
This is Fire Team Zulu requesting immediate assistance from any UNSC forces. Does anyone copy? Over.
I didn't think there were any human forces left on this part of the ring.
Cortana to Fire Team Zulu. I read you. Fire Team Zulu, this is Cortana. Hold position. We're on our way.
Roger that. Make it quick.
So as you can see, the strategy has been working. Just fight what I have to and skip the rest. This is a pretty good strategy for this mission because you don't have to double back like the Silent Cartographer. However, there are situations that are going to come up where you really can't skip the enemies just because of how many there are and them shooting you. But for right now, as you can see, it's working rather well. Up ahead, we are approaching the first time where you really do vehicle on vehicle combat. As you'll see, they have a Wraith, Ghosts, Banshees, and then we get a tank and a Warthog. But yeah, it is a great mission. So as you'll see, I get in a Ghost and just decide to skip all the enemies and head straight towards the tank. Now, the tank is great because it does a lot of damage. It's hard to die in it. But since explosions are amplified, it's more likely you'll kill yourself in it. And the turret is very inaccurate without that auto aim feature. So it's a double-edged sword, basically.
How'd that feel?
Hey, they got armor supports. Watch out for those tanks.
The Covenant placed their tanks to defend the entrance to the tunnel.
Looks like that armor wasn't so tough after all. Let's mop up the rest of them.
Me, huh? There's another one.
So this part with the tank, I did something that I've been requested to do by a couple of my friends. It's why not just put tape on your monitor so when you get the no reticule, you can still see. Well, I was against this at first because I thought it broke the spirit of, the whole lasso thing. But I understand that it's going to be extremely difficult doing it solo, and without the tape on there, whenever you get the no reticule, it's just impossible. I had to kill myself like 4 times with the tank because you just can't aim it without the tape. So in this little tunnel, I put tape on my monitor. It does help a little bit, but it's not game changing or anything.
More Covenant!
So I think this is one of the longest missions in the entire game. It's really long, and thankfully I have that checkpoint uh strategy I can do where if I quit out, I just restart from my last checkpoint because without that this mission would be impossible. Among other missions would be impossible too. However, this mission, it's a lot of fun when you're in the tank just driving around blowing things up. But in Lasso, it's not very fun because the tank is ridiculous and it's a long mission. So, more deaths, a little bit more difficult.
thought the Covenant had eliminated all the Marine forces in this area.
Quiet. Anyone else hear something? Dropship! Covenant dropship inbound! The Covenant is dropping in behind us! We're trapped!
So have you just seen I wasted my camo by fighting a couple of hunters instead of just running past everything and skipping it. I still got to learn when to use the camos and everything. I haven't watched a tutorial on this mission or anything, so I don't know the exact lasso strat is. I kind of just make it up as I go. I could have used a camo and skipped all these enemies, got inside the building, and made my life a million times easier. However, I wanted to kill those two hunters. This is not the first time that this will happen in this mission, strangely enough. Yeah, it's. I do it again. I don't learn a lesson at all. So my strat with this part, since I wasted the camo, was basically just hang back and try to snipe the enemies that I can with the pistol, like the grunts, get them to explode, and use the rocket on the ghosts and the turrets and groups of enemies if I can. I had to destroy a banshee here too. It wasn't too bad because you get a bunch of rocket ammo and health packs and other pistol ammo back at where you came from with those sword elites. So it's not too bad, but it's just kind of annoying that I had to fight this in the first place because of all the or I wasted the camo. And the next part is very easy to skip. As you will see, I just kind of go in there and skip it in one shot. But I think it's not the next part, but the couple parts from now, there will be jackals, and these jackals are, boy, they really are good at defending. So this mission did bring back a little bit of nostalgia to me with my brother and I playing it. We would always try to get down off of the bridge the long way by like scaling down the side of the mountain, which I think is possible. It's just kind of difficult. And also these like tunnels where every time you load, the other person spawns on top of you. So it was just a constant like walking through one of those things and like he'd spawn on me or I'd spawn on him. It was really fun. But yeah, this mission, it was a good one for both of us. And especially riding in that tank, that was really fun too. So this next part coming up is two bridges side by side, enemies on both. You're supposed to make your way down one bridge, fight all the enemies, then loop around, come out on the other bridge, and then come back the way you were just coming from. However, there is a way to jump to the other bridge to just skip that entirely. All the enemies are not alerted yet. So if you take your time, you can jump from the one part of the bridge onto this glass, and then from the glass over to the other side, and then just run through the doors. It saves you so much hassle. And when I first did this part, I was trying to battle the enemies, but I ran out of ammo. It was just not going to happen. I was shooting enemies on both sides of the bridge. It was just so difficult. So I remember doing the bridge skip before, back in the day, and I just attempted it until I got it. I think it only took me like 2 or 3 tries. You can grenade hop, but in LASO, grenade hopping is very dangerous, and you should only do it if very necessary. So this is the infamous camo skip waste number 2. This camo, you could grab it and you could skip these hunters up in this room and just go out onto that little bridge area, grab the Banshee, and then skip to the final part of the mission. I stupidly tried to kill the hunters again, wasted the camo completely, and yeah. So this next part is actually kind of cool. Depending on what loads in, you get 2 variations of this bridge area with the Banshee. One's a red elite with a little rock, which is going to be on the left side, and then one's a big rock with a blue elite. Now, I'm not entirely sure which one is better, but I noticed after restarting this over and over again, sometimes I get that red elite, sometimes I'd get that blue elite. I just thought this was really interesting that you can get alternate versions of the map slash enemy layout, which I kind of knew the enemy layout, but I did not know like the map changes too. Unfortunately, I wasted the camo, so I have to kind of like fight this area until I do get lucky and they aren't getting in the Banshee for whatever reason, so I'm able to run out there and steal it. But yeah, I just thought this was really cool that there's 2 variations to this mission you would never notice unless you do it a bunch of times.
Analyzing. This must be the control room. Subtle.
So without the camo, you have to fight these guys on the bridge, and it's pretty difficult. I tried jumping down on that beam a couple times, it's impossible. I tried scaling down the side of the rock, it's impossible. There's 2 hunters at the end of the bridge that are very hard to kill. So I'm happy that for whatever reason Elite just abandoned the Banshee and I was able to go and steal it. So after you steal the Banshee, you are home free. You just gotta fly to the top of that structure instead of fighting all them enemies or destroying that Wraith. And as long as you don't die fighting the enemies in the little hangar area, you are good because there's not much left of the mission, which I was able to complete. And yeah, so glad I got this Banshee.
Covenant forces in the vicinity have been eliminated. Let's move on to Halo's control center. This is it. Halo's control center. That terminal, try there.
You all right?
Never been better. You can't imagine the wealth of information. The knowledge, so much, so fast. It's glorious.
So, what sort of weapon is it?
What are you talking about?
Let's stay focused. Halo, how do we use it against the Covenant?
This ring isn't a cudgel, you barbarian. It's something else. Something much more important. The Covenant were right. This ring... it's Forerunner. Give me a second to access. Yes, the Forerunner built this place, what they called a fortress world, in order to... Wait. No, that can't be. Oh, those Covenant fools. They must have known. There must have been signs.
Slow down. You're losing me.
The Covenant found something. Buried in this ring. Something horrible. And now, they're afraid.
Something buried.
The captain. We've got to stop the captain.
Keys? What
The
are we...
weapons cache he's looking for. It's not really... We can't let him get inside.
I don't understand.
There's no time. Get out of here. Find keys. Stop him. Before it's too late.
That was the mission. Stay tuned for the death recap.
Cortana to Fire Team Zulu. I read you. Fire Team Zulu, this is Cortana. Hold position. We're on...
Ring's environment systems are malfunctioning. Or if the designers wanted the installation to have inclement weather.
Fire Team Zulu requests immediate...
Or if the ring's environment systems are malfunctioning. Or if the designers wanted the installation to have inclement weather.
This is Zulu requesting immediate assistance from any UNSC forces. Does anyone copy? Over.
thought the Covenant had eliminated all the Marine forces. Analyzing. Analyzing. This must be the control room.
So I died a total of 101 times on this mission. The elites take it by far, followed by the grunts, and then myself, surprisingly, but in that tank, of course, I'm going to kill myself a few times. And a couple newcomers, the Banshee, the Ghost, and the Wraith are get added to the list. And I did died by an ally grenade at one point, which I was kind of surprised, but yeah, you got me. So adding those to the totals so far this run, as you can see, the elites still lead with 154, followed by the grunts with 122, then the jackals with 75, then the hunters with 32. Be interesting to see what other miscellaneous things kill me throughout this thing. I've died a total of 434 times. I think 1,000 is guaranteed at this point. But yeah, I know the flood's coming up, so they're gonna get their addition onto this list. So I'd like to thank anyone who did watch this video to the entire end. Uh, this one was a lot of fun. This mission, it was not as bad as the Truth and Reconciliation overall. Just learning like how the tank works, what distance you have to be with it, and the amount of enemies you can skip is great. Now, I know that this mission shows up later as you play a backwards version of it. I'm curious to see how that goes. But yeah, I am having a lot of fun with this series, and I'm hoping I can beat it. So I hope everyone has a good day, and I'll see you next time.